cmpradio.net. It's the station.
Good evening, everyone. You are going to be chiming in on tonight's episode of
Rooted in Real
Delva Diaries. We are here with CMP Radio. So definitely chime into cmpradio.net. It's the first radio station in Chester, PA. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram. So thank you. And shout out to JP for having us this evening at the station. And thank you all for joining us at this episode tonight. And we're just going to cover a little bit about what's been happening on a serious note, what's been happening in our country right now with ICE, immigration, border patrol, and kind of dive into some of the stories that's been coming up. So stay tuned to hear different parts of that, different parts of those updates. I know Rose is going to take us from here.
Yes. Hello, everybody. How you guys doing tonight? If you have a chance, take a minute, go grab your coffee, grab some tea, grab your blanket, and come and sit and talk with us tonight. Tonight is going to be a little bit heavy. We have to talk about this. We did want to talk about relationship advice going into Valentine's Day, where you guys want to go if you have any plans for Valentine's. But with everything that's going on this week, we're going to hold off on that. Our episode in 2 more weeks, February 12th, you can catch us there. We're going to be talking about 50 things that you should do before you get married. But for tonight, we just want to remember the people who have passed away this week with ICE hunting down people who are immigrants
or people who are protesting.
Yeah, or the protesters. If you didn't catch our episode from 2 weeks ago, our first episode going live, we talked a little bit about our goals. You can go back and rewatch it, and you can still comment underneath because we are going to revisit that in a few more weeks just to check in on your goals. If you did already do that, thank you. We appreciate just everybody that tuned in our last episode. Yeah, so before we talk about immigration, a little bit about our Martin Luther King March that we had here in Chester. That went really well. Mayor Roots, that was wonderful. I love your speech.
Yeah, I participated in that peace march. It was an amazing day. They started it off with an opening ceremony at City Hall. Everybody eats catered that breakfast, and we had the Cat Center do a performance. with the young ladies that danced that morning, and they really poured their hearts out into the dance and expressed all that Martin Luther King Day is and how far we've come as a Black community. So that was so amazing to watch. And then everyone gathered. It was a good crowd. Everyone gathered. They gave us instructions on how we're going to march from City Hall to Widener campus, and the energy was great. Like, everybody was just really into it, very cheerful. But during that walk, by the time I got from City Hall, we walked around down
The States?
no, the other side,
okay.
the next block over where the
Madison?
yeah,
Okay.
I think under the bridge.
Okay.
So we're getting close to the bridge, and all of a sudden, I just felt this wave of emotion because I didn't want to really talk to anyone. I kind of just wanted to be in the moment, experience it. And I thought to myself, people were really marching for their rights, to be in America and to participate as citizens, to be able to vote, to be able to be in a community where they could interact with white, Black, all people of all colors. So, and in marching, they would be attacked by dogs or fire hydrants, pepper spray, or the things that they used against the protesters or the people that were marching. And it just hit me that here I am essentially reenacting what they did, and I have that freedom now because of them. And it just was an emotional moment, but I didn't want to start crying in front of everybody and then them asking me what's wrong. So I just kind of took a deep breath. Was very present in that moment, and we kept walking down Avenue of States, then Edgemont Avenue, and then we turned around towards that Widener University entrance, and then went into Latham Hall, where everyone waited for the next activity, and they watched the Martin Luther King Dream speech. I couldn't stay, but I did hear that they had a
basketball game?
Before that, they did a...
the basketball game was that same day?
Yeah, it was the same day. I don't...
City Hall versus...
Do you know who won?
Widener? I don't know who won.
But they did a social experiment, and they had three doors you could walk into. One was whites only, one was colored, and one was spectator or observer. So you could choose not to participate in the experiment and kind of just observe, watch the whole situation. I think they just had the whites and the coloreds kind of go through this scenario or like questions. And I heard it wasn't the best feedback. A lot of Widener students they didn't feel it. So
really?
Look into that.
Well,
but
what didn't they feel?
they said it was just too real. It was just too real, I guess. So I found that interesting, but it was still a very powerful itinerary for the day. So definitely shout out to City Hall, our Mayor Roots, Justin Tibbles, and just everyone that was involved in preparation for that day. I know Crystal Dakeem, they kind of hosted the opening ceremony. So it was really powerful for me. Yeah. I look forward to doing it next year. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to come as long as it doesn't snow. Actually, I'm going to come even if it does snow.
Hopefully I can have the day off. If I volunteer to help put it together, then I can have the day off.
Okay.
So they have volunteer days, time off at my job. Yeah.
Well, don't give them a heads up.
No, I'm getting the heads up right now. Yeah, that's. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. It was a good experience. But not too long after that, learning of the gentleman's death and the protest situation, I'm not gonna lie, it really got me down It really got me down. Made me feel like, um,
Have you
I
guys
think his name's
Have you
Petty.
guys seen the monks that's walking for peace?
Mm-mm.
Are they still marching?
I don't. They were during the snowstorm. They were in North Carolina, walking up. They are marching to all the way to DC.
During the snowstorm?
Our first one
Yeah.
or this one?
From where?
I believe from Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, which is it's emotional watching them do that. You know, walking. Some of them walking barefooted. That's a long walk. Just to you know show that one of their ways of demonstrating that they want peace. It's a lot of killing and hate right now. You know.
Yeah, they started marching before Venezuela was attacked. So I'm just wondering, did they have a feeling like to do that march ahead of time? Did they have a feeling that they know where this country was heading? If you guys want to join us in this short moment of silence, and just to remember the people who did march or did protest and they did not make it. Okay.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
As you all know, we are first generation first generation children of immigrants, and this whole matter is very sensitive to us, very sensitive to me because I'm witnessing firsthand my family, my community, become very uneasy about the situation, become very restless about the situation, even those that have been here for years, those that are citizens, those that are permanent residents, but still feel insecurity in where they reside. And I know I've had someone in my life say their temporary protective status was removed, and it was a family that had a business here, that they were thriving. It was a young family, and some of you might ask, well, why didn't they just get their paperwork squared away? It's not as 1, 2, 3 as most people might think. It's a very stretched out, not promising process. So, to attempt to become permanent resident or to attempt to acclimate to a whole new country, a whole new community, culture, and then it be so difficult and challenging, on top of it already be difficult and challenging, having the government or certain communities tell you that you're not wanted. They up and left. They left and said that they don't need to be or want to be in a country that doesn't want them. How can we call ourselves the melting pot of the world and have this be one of our biggest issues, where people are losing their lives for this? It's really eating away at me. I can't seem to wrap my head around it. And we'll kind of get into the details of what it is to be an immigrant and try and get here the wrong way, the right way, the finding loopholes way. It's just really, for those of you that are not familiar with the process.
But even when you do try to do it the right way, the runaround that the agencies put you through is ridiculous. Like, the amount of paperwork and then you submit it and they can't find it. They lose it, or they call the wrong number to set your appointment. It is very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And I know a lot of people have their opinions of saying like, oh, they don't belong here. They're illegal. They're just criminals doing it the wrong way. And a lot of people don't know the backstories of why the immigrants are illegal. Sometimes I heard so many stories. They sent it to the wrong address, or it was returned. There's so many scenarios that they go through, and we're just so stuck or in our ways or in that rhetoric of illegal.
And most people don't even realize that when someone comes into this country, if they pass through border control, if they cross paths, interact with border control, they are processed and given an alien number. At that point, they are legally documented to be here. Now, the issue is when your court date or like the date to go back passes, now you cross into an undocumented category, and that doesn't make the situation better. However, it's a very scary place to be, especially when you're coming from a country that has a failed state or is in crisis, is in famine, is in persecution. So if it were you, would you go back to a situation? And I'm trying my best to speak from a non-biased point. It's hard, but I would want people to understand the why. Because I know there are immigrants that would much rather be in a place where they don't have to learn a new language or struggle, or like they would much rather be home. But there is security in America for immigrants and Americans. Like we do get to experience a lot of freedoms, right? But I think it's up to us as citizens that want to understand what's going on to do the research. And part of that is understanding what's happening in these people's countries. Why are they seeking asylum? Why are they looking for a better life? And then go from there. But to just automatically say, oh, you don't belong here, or go back to your country, I feel like it's very it's
insensitive.
It's
inhumane.
It's very elementary to casually think that way, or to make those kind of recommendations without having done your research. And I feel like that is part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I worked in the immigration law office before, and
that's right.
Yeah, like my freshman summer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and one
Refugee.
so the countries we were dealing with at the time was Liberia, in Africa, Indonesia, and it was one other country.
Was it Asian or
Indonesia's?
No, I mean the last one.
No, I don't know if it was Ukraine or not. Ukrainians. But anyway, because in the office we had an Afghani, she was a lawyer, and then we had a Liberian, and we had a Ukrainian working in the office so they can speak the language of the refugees that were seeking asylum. And I was there as an intern / student doing the research part. So I was responsible to find supporting evidence to take so that she can take to the judge, the people that grant the asylums, like the stories of what's actively going on at the time. And I am not even gonna repeat. It's
I mean, please do, because that's the thing. People awareness.
So in both countries,
Without
it
sharing
wasn't
any
just
particular names.
it wasn't just Africa, Liberia, or Indonesia. Both countries was going through almost the same exact thing. It was the Chinese in Indonesia, and then Liberia was a civil war, and they were killing the men, and they were raping the women, pregnant, not pregnant, with objects, sexual assaults with all types of ways. The woman and the children. The children had to sit there and watch this being. So they just come to the house, raid it, and
Was it in what country?
both countries, Indonesia and in Liberia. It was very, 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 very extremely sad. Sad is not even a word to describe the things that those people were going through. And so when they are seeking asylum, it's not just, they're trying to just come to America and take all our resources, and they come to the US or they die. It's life and death. So for us to have the resources and not willing to help other countries is pathetic, to say the least. Maybe we can have a better reforms for people who feel like, we're not helping the Americans enough. We're helping the immigrants first before the Americans. I hear that a lot. But at the same time, in the same breath, we are not being persecuted. No one is running. It was like, what's that movie?
Hotel Rwanda.
Purge.
Oh,
Hotel Rwanda.
sorry. Because that's all. I'm
Are you like scared for your life? Have you ever seen the movie Purge?
No, I haven't.
Man. So would they go through in their countries times 10? Because at least with Purge, they're just killing you, right?
That was America, right? Purge happened in America.
I didn't see that movie. I missed it.
Yeah.
Well, it's times 10 in other countries when they go into civil war or you getting invaded by another country. And by the grace of God, we haven't experienced that in our country. The closest we came to that was Pearl Harbor.
And that was devastating. So if you can imagine anything happening here in the U.S. and we need to seek asylum in another country, how would you want to be treated? How would you want to be received? I know it feels like our country, the defense is so strong, we're never gonna get attacked. They'll intercept the missiles before they reach here. But I don't want to seem so like I'm predicting anything, but think about the previous powerful empires. Where is Rome now? Just think about that. No one is invincible. Mm-hmm. The Titanic was not truly unsinkable.
To think about it, it's a privilege to be able to have the resources to help other humans. Forget where they're from. The human race, period. And for us to feel like we have the right to deny, people who are seeking refuge in our country, it's inhumane.
It is.
So let's take it back. Let's start from today and work our way back and maybe jump around a little bit. Okay. I was pulling up some information.
Okay.
So was it a week or two ago? Hundreds of activists came and they began protesting because of what's been happening with ICE, their presence in different cities. And one protester by the name of Alex Pretti, Pretti, He was a 37-year-old nurse, or has a history in nursing at the Minneapolis Veterans Affairs Hospital. And he was shot by federal agents. And based off of what I saw in the video, thinking about what you said, Markeisha, I don't want to get emotional, but this man was on the floor, all fours. And I believe, from what the information that I gathered, he had a license to carry a concealed weapon, and the patrol agents were like, "You need to give this weapon up." And he's like, "Nah, like I got a legal right to carry this weapon, concealed or not." And so it was a back and forth tussle about him giving up this weapon. In that situation, I don't know if he legally had to give it up, despite the fact that he had a license. But there were 6 agents that were beating him in his face. He was not fighting back. He was too busy trying to collect his items or his belongings, and they were hitting him in the face, pushing him to the ground, pushing him down, just hitting him. 6 agents against one guy. As he tried to stand back up, kind of from behind him, the one agent turned him around, and he was shot in the abdomen. He kind of bent over, and it was gone.
Just because he was trying to protect.
Just because he was trying to get his stuff together, his gun or whatever it was, but there wasn't a reason for him to be shot. There were 6 officers against one guy. He was not trying to actively shoot, from what I saw, harm any of those officers, just like Renee, the other woman earlier this month that was shot, was a wife and a mother. She didn't have a weapon. She was shot in the face. It's just out of control. It's out of control. So that situation happened. The incident where Preddy was shot was on January 24th, 2026. This was by Customs and Border Protection agents in Minneapolis. So family and supporters describe him as an advocate against immigration enforcement crackdowns. And right now that this has started an even bigger issue. But some of you might be asking, what is it that is such a big deal about immigration? And we've touched on it a little bit about what some immigrants come from, the situations that they're in. But why immigration is such a hot issue? Immigration sits at the intersection of law, economics, national security, and humanity. The big deal is really about who gets to stay, under what rules, and how many people the system can realistically handle while still protecting human rights. So the biggest concern right now is who is actually being deported, who's being asked to leave, and where are they from? Most deportations and asylum seekers today come from Mexico, Central America like Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Venezuela, Haiti, and Cuba. There are some concerns with Mexican immigrants with their ties to the cartel, their ties to the fentanyl epidemic, the drug issues. So they're like, okay, if we can control immigration with the Mexican population, we can get ahead of that situation. Because right now, I don't know if it's official or they're in the process of doing so, but the cartels are being flagged as terrorists, as a threat to American citizens because of the production of drugs. So I know that's their approach when it comes to the deportation of Mexican immigrants. And I'm sure there's a lot more details to it. I'm sure there'll be viewers that'll say, no, well, or there's more to it. And I'm really just giving you the gist of it. It does require sitting down, doing a lot of research, and really looking into what's really going on. But I don't know if did you want to make any comments on that?
The people seeking asylum from Afghanistan, the Ukrainians. That's another two groups that I thought of as you were listing that. I feel like back when 9/11 happened, the crackdown kind of happened with immigration, where it's like, we don't ever want to be blindsided again. How can you be blindsided if it was planned? How can
that's still a conspiracy?
Okay.
But yeah, right.
So to not be blindsided again, that was kind of like a reason to introduce the what act was that?
The national security.
Yeah, with the NSA and tap wiring and before that, the immigrants, they were able to come up seasonally as they were needed on the farm, especially throughout the South, Texas, California, Nevada. They would come work on the farms.
Migrant workers.
A lot of businesses needed that extra help, the workers. And then when the season was over, they would go back and it wasn't a problem. Now, once we hit 2001, 9/11, then when, it was a crackdown with who was entering into the country. Maybe it was needed because we did have the Boston Marathon attack, many other attacks after that. So we had to crack down.
And the issue is that in that process, some people might say, well, dang, just like do it the right way and like do what you're supposed to do. And people are. But what happens is it's become this like prolonged process. You might even say, well, then so what? When I say prolonged, I'm talking about
Years.
5, 10, 15, some people 20 years before they even hear anything. So, and like Natalie was saying, it's a life and death situation. It's survival. It's my family, the next generation. It's, I want to send something home. Let's just send one person to send something back,
Support the family.
Yeah. So it's not.
Or sometimes you have no one. Like your whole family was killed and you're the only one, and you finally got asylum to come here. But all the political, and it depends on who's the president, right? They have your application. Let's say you submitted an election year. Now you have a new president, and now the process changed, and now you have to wait longer. It's a whole runaround just to even try to become immigrants. If the process was more streamlined and less, cumbersome, maybe we can have vet through the immigrants, the ones that meet the criteria, they could get their paperwork in time and be legal, versus all this back and forth in politics, and then now we're calling them illegal.
And we're just giving all. I was gonna say in Creole, since you're an immigrant, you're illegal automatically, and that's just not the case. And like Natalie said, we just need to reform. We need to revise the immigration process, and maybe everything that's happening will be the start of that, because it's a real problem all around, whatever way you look at it. Even as an American, I can say, yes, there is a risk in opening the borders to X, Y, and Z community. There's a risk. My daughter's safety is at question. And so I get it. I get it from both perspectives. But my point is, when is the change going to start? When is that reform going to start? Hillary Clinton was talking about it during her campaign. Obama was talking about all these candidates come and they talk about reform. But I can't see real evidence of.
We got a reformer, right? With the current president.
Right. But kind of to get back to some of the topics that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with these countries? we know that there's extreme violence, like Natalie said, gangs, cartels, political repression. There's economic collapse or failed state due to like environmental reasons or corrupt politics. Imperialism, yes.
Like
hyperinflation, where some countries, when we experience inflation, we'll just say, all right, it might go down a little bit next summer or in a few months. There's some
But
places
we still buy. We still go shopping.
Mm-hmm. Some places it doesn't.
we
go
get
down.
we get stimulus to
pay
boost
the
the
extra.
economy.
Yeah.
They don't get stimulus.
Some places don't get it. There are some places that lack basic services like food, healthcare, safety. We all know that Sudan is experiencing a historic famine
Drought. Yeah.
and drought right now, where like people are dying by the hundreds. So these are the situations that immigrants are coming from. You know, I think as Americans, we can be so fixated and determined to get the next best niche or like next best viral that we can miss the reality of what the desperation from these immigrants that come, and a lot of them work
Hi,
so
Laura.
hard.
Hi, Rich.
They work so hard. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Miss Laura. And
Yeah.
Rich.
Yeah. So these are what the protesters are.
If you have any
Spending-
questions, go ahead. You can go ahead and post your chat or ask your question, and we'll be able to see it and answer it. We'd love to hear from you too. What are your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to say, like, maybe with Biden, it was too laxed, and people were saying, oh, they're taking our jobs. There's not enough jobs. The immigrants are taking our jobs. How are they able to come? Like in Minnesota, they're driving around in the luxury exotic cars after just being here 1 year. They have all these businesses. How is that even possible? So there was a cry, especially in Chicago, because people felt that the immigrants were advancing too quickly. Like where it would take some people who's been here their whole lives, 5 or 10 years to set up their businesses and be successful in it. Some of the immigrants were coming and doing it in a year or two. So there was a outcry and outrage. The money that was going to the amount of assistance and aid that was going to them. And so now there is a crackdown, and some of the same people that were screaming, they're taking our jobs, it's not fair, we need help too. Why are they getting $8,000 on a debit card and there's veterans sleeping on the street? Now they're protesting and they're saying that, you know, what ICE is doing is just too much. And whichever side that you're on, we can't save every immigrant. We can't change the world overnight. But I just want you to.
Sorry.
I just want you
Trying to get on live.
Okay.
Hi, Jamar. Trying to get on the
Hi,
chat.
Jamar. It's cool. I just want you to just real quick, just imagine if you guys have seen the movie Part 2, Greenland 2. I don't want to ruin it for you, but just imagine like the world is in chaos. They're in Greenland. They were in the bunkers. They come out and they were trying to get to another destination, but they had to go through France. Like, can you imagine if it's you? You need to get your family to safety. You want to get there. You don't want to get robbed as you're trying to get there. You don't want to be violated, male or female, because not just the women that get raped on the trek here to the border. It happens to men as well. They just don't talk about it. We have so many people, Americans, that committed suicide because they had to stay indoors during COVID.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't cope with it. Now, imagine that's COVID. That's not being able to go to a restaurant. That's being isolated from your friends and family. That's not being able to attend a funeral of somebody that a lost loved one because the hospital didn't want to let you in. The depression from COVID. Now, add that to your country as being destabilized for whatever reason. The superpower are the cause or not. Maybe they didn't recover from COVID because they didn't have a stimulus or anything, and they're still struggling to come back from COVID. And you just want to get somewhere, the US or Canada or France or the UK, so you can take care of your family. Imagine if it's you. How would you want to be treated? That's all you have to think about. And if you're not sure what to do, you can connect with somebody. Everybody knows an immigrant. If you're not sure, reach out to us in this group. You can DM us and we'll tell you how you can connect, how you can help, what can you do, because it's not right to just look away because it's not your problem. Today it's not your problem, but one day it could be. It could be you.
And the thing is right now, a lot of these immigrants are isolated right now. They are isolating because they're afraid to go out in public spaces. They're terrified. They don't want to go anywhere. And
some of them, like, they establish a business in the town that they came through initially, and because ICE is in that town, they drop everything that they're doing, their job, and they run. They run to the next state that is safe from ICE, or ICE is not targeting, because ICE is targeting the big cities, Philadelphia, New York, Chicago. They were in Delaware recently.
The reason why it, just to kind of add to what you're saying real quick, is that they're sanctuary cities. And so they kind of have...
But aren't they still invading sanctuary cities? Like Philadelphia?
Yeah.
So even in sanctuary cities, they're not safe.
Right. Which is why ICE is definitely targeting and approaching cities like Chicago or Minneapolis, primarily because they know this is a hub for immigrants and a safe haven. That's one aspect of the kind of what's driving the protest, but also how they're targeting children to draw out their parents. But I cut you off, so finish saying what you're saying, and fine. I'll go into that.
While you were talking, it's something else just hit me. It's like the president before our current president granted access to our country to Haiti, right? And the next president says, like, no, I don't agree. How is that even fair? Like, they already were granted the asylum from Haiti. There's a lot going on in Haiti right now. And then this is a prime example of how quickly you can become an illegal immigrant. One president says, okay, you can come, we have asylum for you, we will protect you. And the next president comes in and says, you know what? I don't agree with that president. You're no longer protected, and take away their papers. And now you're going to scream, illegal immigrants. But the rules change every 4 years, and then you guys want to scream. Mm-hmm. How is that fair? Mm-hmm. So now a lot of Haitians that came through the Biden program are like scared for their lives. You know, they were working, creating a living for themselves. And now they're just, like you said, isolating themselves.
And
based on a promise from a previous president.
Yeah. And it's not good for their mental health, and another big issue. And I can go on and on about this because I have lived with, I've interacted, I have helped, I've spent time with immigrants that could be deported today if things went down. So my heart goes out to them. But, you know, I was going to say something, I lost they come from different country, right? Brazil, Chile, French Guiana, I think. Guinea, yeah. And when they if they were to be deported, it would be back into their origin country where they probably didn't have roots there for years, 10, 15, 20 plus years. So what are they going to go back to? And so they'll be left defenseless and could very well die. So you're sending these people back. It's like a death sentence. And so some of them are already beginning to flee to other countries that they could start over again. But imagine being in a perpetual state of starting over. I've moved a fair share of my life, and I feel like it takes me a good 2 years to finally get situated. And then by the time that happens, it's like, I gotta start over again. I'm losing my mind from that. Doing that for your whole life or most of your life. We're doing this podcast, this topic specifically to help put our viewers in their shoes, to give you a different perspective on what's happening.
Yeah, you want to read Rich Bly? You said we may all have a different point of view, but we have to have the same realistic goal with respect for the values of the person, you know.
Oh, can you? I don't know if we could read that whole comment.
Yeah.
But
Thank you, Dominique.
yeah, I think no, I don't. But I think that's important. We could have different points of views, but
what do you think one of the solutions could be? Like, which president previously do you think did it best? Was it the way Obama did it? Because he had the highest amount of deportations, but he didn't use ICE. He used more border patrol at the border. He would just send them back. So they never got a chance to go through the detention centers and get that alien number or anything. Like, which administration do you think did it best? Or how could it be better, Rich?
And let me tell you something. For the people that came way back, I forget what year this was, but it wasn't that long ago, where a lot of Haitians were at the border in Texas and they were getting whipped. Some of y'all remember that? Yeah.
I forgot about that.
If you remember that, give me a little comment.
It wasn't AI either.
It wasn't AI, right?
AI was not really popular back then. It was real.
It was real. Give me a thumbs up if you heard that story in the comment section, right? You're probably thinking, well, what happened to them? Automatically, you might think, well, they got shipped back to where they came from. That's not true. Some of them were, and some of them were processed, meaning they went through the detention center. They were given documentation, meaning, you know, an alien number. Boom, they are documented. They're legally in the country, meaning immigration knows that they're here. We know this person's here. You need to report once a month through this app. We got tabs on you. If you
CBP1, the app.
Yeah. If you move address, if you go to a different relative or a different place.
But so they were let into the country.
They were let into the country. So now you have this mixed feeling of should I come or shouldn't I come, as an immigrant, that is watching what's going on. You know, okay, my cousin made it. I know they're gonna send their family money. It's like we said, it's just a life and death situation. And so I don't want viewers to think that all of them are sent back. That's not the case. Good number of them get processed through and are here legally. Now, it might be for certain date, like
how
2
you
years.
Get processed? Explain that to me. You got processed. You got detained, processed, and now you are in the country with what paper?
With a I-9.
So you're here with an I-9.
Which is an alien number. They get a social security.
But they're being surveillance and watched?
Being monitored through cooperation. So they need you to update them. So
update them about what you're doing?
What I'm not sure if it's what you're doing, but where you're living, what's your contact information, and did you or did you not leave the country? Like, they want to know if you're still here. Some of them eventually get work permits, so they're working here legally.
Okay.
They, I don't know how they're taxed, but they're not necessarily working under the table. Now, the
Okay.
issue is, yes, there are immigrants that find themselves needing to work under the table. That's when their work visa, their work permit, whatever, is expired. It's no longer valid. They can't get a legitimate job with a, what would it be, a W-2?
They get W-2s. I know I've helped people file their taxes.
So
They
why would you
W-2s.
why would you cancel their work visa and not allow them to contribute to the economics of this country? Because, to me, it's some people might say, well, they're stealing my job and all that. But as Jamar said in the chat, he's never specifically been in a situation where he said whether immigration was high or lower, legal or illegal, no job ever gave me a raise because they fired a foreigner, not one. Meaning that immigrants being employed, I personally would need to have more information on why that's an issue more than it is a benefit to our communities. So
has it been difficult for anyone watching for you to find a job in your field, and not just like the immigrants coming in through the border, but also the H-1 visas? Coming from, like, a lot of them come from India with the H-1 visas, and like a job would sponsor them. Have you ever struggled in the field that you're in where you feel like maybe immigrant was given priority?
But here's a lot of the jobs that these immigrants get are jobs, a lot of times, either there isn't enough Americans that can do the jobs with the H-1s. There's a field that Americans are not getting into, or we don't have enough qualified Americans to fill those jobs, or jobs that we don't want to do to begin with.
H-1s, can you describe that?
I think isn't H-1s visas like based on, like, for example, if we are a shortage of IT, so they outsource other countries to fill those positions because they need them. How are we getting mad? And a lot of us don't want to be in the fields picking anything, And unfortunately, corporations hire these immigrants because they'll work for lower wages. So it's kind of like we get shortchanged that way because the cost of living in America is high. But the immigrants would come in and take these jobs for way less than we're willing to work for. So that's an issue in itself that needs to be addressed as a system.
And I will say from a different perspective, because I said earlier, we don't want to approach this necessarily in a biased way. Mm-hmm. But one issue I would say that I do see on the other opposite side is that I know there are certain communities in different countries that survive based off of the money that's being sent from America or Europe or these other places. And so there is a bleed out that happens in our economy where the income that's coming in, a portion of it is feeding these other international communities. So there is, I know, I haven't studied economics, but I can clearly see that.
Ms. Laura, yeah, exactly.
And
H1 job. Sorry, I'm just responding to the Ms. Laura's comment saying A1 jobs for technology, engineering, and healthcare, where we don't have the people to fulfill those needs.
Right.
So we do reach out and get qualified immigrants to fill those positions. Now, we can't get mad if we're not qualified for it and we have to reach out but then again, it could be two sides to the sword. Either there isn't enough qualified Americans who are educated enough for these positions or applying for these positions, and / companies are going after these immigrants because they're trying to save a penny and not pay what the Americans demand wage wise.
So, one, we can
Right, exactly, Jamar.
immigrants
Exactly.
do lots of jobs that Americans don't want, and they do it for cheap. If Americans picked our apples, they'd cost $1. Oh man, I wish we could
$11.99.
see more of the comments.
I can.
That was what Jamar said. But there needs to be a reform, and that starts with voting. That starts with writing to the Congress.
Another thing, you just mentioned something about a lot of our resources are being bled out into other countries, right? That goes into imperialism, right? A lot of if we created aid, not just handing out free stuff, but actually helping the country have sustainable program to support themselves, that would be more beneficial than sending care packages. Educating them to support themselves. But realistically, and what's really happening is we're going into those countries for resources. Venezuela, prime example. I don't care what nobody says. Not only oil, gold, whatever. So half of the time, the problem that those countries are having, developed countries, European, we're causing the problem, and we're sugarcoating it with, oh well, they have a drug problem, so let's go over there and just, how's that helping? It's not. We're causing more refugees that want to come. Now more Venezuelans going to try to escape their country because of the civil war that's happening to come to the U.S. We go to these countries, exploit them, leave them high and dry. So, oh my God, they're trying to come to our country. Yeah. But if we're going to, let's say Americans are going to help countries, we need to have a reform of how we help countries, right? Sustainable, that when we leave, they can handle themselves instead of just giving handouts.
Oh, like what happened in Afghanistan.
Right.
They pulled out.
Right. Exactly. Let's not go
Did they pull
there.
out too soon? Should they not have pulled out at all?
I have yet to unpack how I feel about that situation.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that. I haven't had time to sit down and chew on and digest everything that went on, because I don't like just taking what the media tells me, and that's how I feel. I want to do my research. I want to know the facts. At the end of the day, I think there's a lot of sketchiness that we might not ever know, but I don't want to just take what media spits out at me.
Yeah.
I did want to share though. Okay. Kind of confirm what we were saying earlier about naturalization, which is like becoming a permanent resident.
Yes, Jamar. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let's make a program to bring lots of students from other countries, get educated here, and send them back so they can build their own countries, give them access to our knowledge and not our wallets, perhaps. Exactly, Jamar. But we'll really be helping other countries. And then that might be a conflict of interest for us. But my point exactly, if we really truly are in this for mankind, that's the method we should do. That's the real way to help.
Yeah. I also want to give a shout out to the wonderful world of Rich Bly, who's been chiming in. You definitely want to check out his podcast, check out his some of the information that he's sharing. Very knowledgeable gentleman, incredible resource of information. So when you have time, when you plug out of Rooted in Real Delva Diaries, head on over to the wonderful world of Rich Bly and check out what he's sharing. But back to the information on green card and citizenship, aka naturalization. It says here, this process usually for permanent residence takes about five years. 3 years if married to a U.S. citizen, which is one of the loopholes I was telling you. Certain people take opportunity take advantage of, and I've got stories about that.
But I wonder, our president. Let me not go there.
No, let's go there. I'll go there.
I wonder if he used that.
Well,
his wife used that loophole.
The people are asking for her to leave as well, and her parents.
No way.
Yes.
They asked Nicki Minaj to leave too.
Yes.
But Nicki Minaj got that golden citizenship.
Wait a minute.
What?
It's some kind of $5 million visa. I don't know how true that is. I'm just speculating.
No, she was not born here.
Oh wow.
She was not born here. But I was listening to her this morning. Yes. I was listening to Nicki. Like I said, I like hearing from everywhere, everything. I don't want to
let me look up this golden visa.
Oh, the one that you pay $1 million for?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
maybe that's why she was backing up Trump so she could get her $1 million golden visa.
Yeah, fact check that. But
Listen.
I know this couple. This guy, he came to the States. Was looking for.
Okay. Sorry. But the 2025 launch Trump Gold Card, an expedited U.S. residency program allowing foreign nationals to gain legal permanent residence green card by donating $1 million to the U.S. Treasury, bypassing traditional job creation requirements, designed for wealthy individuals to offer a fast track pathway to citizenship, with corporate options available for $2 million. Our country is for sale.
Is that in effect?
Pay down the debt.
Wait,
Listen,
hold on.
By the end of the rest of the 3 years we have left, we should have zero debt. That would be nice.
Donald Trump is a businessman. Like, he's a businessman. Look what he's selling visas for $1 million donated to the Treasury. Hopefully it is going towards our debt and not his pocket. But
no, because if he did his first term or his first time,
it's called the Trump Gold Card. This man is an entrepreneur.
I don't think he would put it in his pocket because did he work for free as the president when he went the first time?
First of all,
I don't think
there's so many.
Received a
Sometimes
payment.
you don't even want money. Being the stuff,
power.
Not even the power. Like, once you're a president of the United States, it comes with privileges. You don't even need to get paid. Like, you get places for free. You can do things because you're the president of the United States. You don't even need a salary. You know what I mean? So, but man, Donald Trump, yo.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was telling a story, but I think I'll save that for another time.
No. So, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I thought it was a joke. Somebody was talking about it at work, and I was like, you know what? I thought it was a joke.
I heard about that a while ago.
What is the Trump Gold Card?
I just didn't know that it went into effect.
Yeah,
because
if fill out the form.
But Congress would have to pass that into a law.
Now, how many times have he done what he wanted to without Congress?
I mean, it was just the East Wing. He hasn't done anything else without some type.
Oh no,
of
the
How about the East Wing?
No, the Venezuela situation with the president. Yeah, Donald Trump does what he want to do. Anyway, we digress.
So there's this.
Yes, last year he gave his salary national
to
parks and military, from what I recall. Check and look into IVLP, International Visitor Leadership Program. It already exists.
I've heard about that. I have.
Okay. Building their workforce is better than building their government for them. We're not good at that part. LOL. Yeah, Jamar.
Yeah, and don't send their good teachers into exile. Let the good teachers stay so that their youth can be educated.
But he donates his presidential salary for tax purposes. Well, okay, so side note,
we digress.
Let's break the ice a little bit with a story.
Okay.
So there was this gentleman who came to the States. I won't say from where. I'm trying to be.
Okay.
And I remember this person being introduced to me, and they asked me if I knew someone or if I had a friend or whatever that he could date and court and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I know where this is going. Okay. Yeah, sure. Introduced him to a friend. They talked for a little bit. Didn't work out. So proud of my friend now. But eventually he met someone. They, dated. Before you knew it, I found out, I heard that they were getting married. So they get into the plans, get the pastor's blessing, goes through premarital counseling, invitations go out, they have the venue. I think they got married and reception in the same place. Beautiful. Girl was like, this is a man of my dreams, pastoral material, speaking, doing messages. Tell me why. I think 4 or 6 months into the marriage, comes to find out this man has a whole wife in a different country. I said, wow. But like I said, I'm going to share the beauty and ugliness of this immigration. The desperation of immigration is what I'll call this story. And she got the marriage annulled, and he was deported. And when you get deported.
Wow. Was he, he had a whole wife in another country, right?
Right.
Was he still communicating with the other wife?
Yes.
Was he still supporting the other wife?
Yes.
Oh.
And they were in communication talking about, endure this because it's just the long-term goals that you'll somehow get me in. We're going to be a family together in the States. And the issue is when you get deported is usually, I think for this kind of a situation, you get deported, you can't come back for like a certain number of years. It could be 5. But if you are given a notice, like you need to leave this country by such and such date, you do not leave and you're deported, you can't come back. It's like 10 years. If it's for a criminal record, like a crime, you get deported, you might not be able to ever come back. So there is a certain
I have a question. So they were married.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So did he not get his paperwork yet? Were they waiting for it? So how did he get deported?
She reported it. She reported him. She wrote a letter to USCIS. USCIS is what does it stand for again?
I'm not sure.
Immigration Services?
Customs and Customs and Immigration. Yeah, she wrote a letter, said I was bamboozled. I was married a con artist, and he was.
So is that considered a crime?
Yeah.
So that means
international crime.
Wow. So now he lost his chances of ever, coming back here.
What would that crime be? Breaking a heart?
No, fraud. It's fraud. It's polygamy, I guess. It's
wow.
Yeah, like
there's probably a list of charges.
What about in the States? If you're already married to somebody, but in another state, is that a crime?
Yes, it's crime national, like across the board.
Okay. I thought some states allow polygamy.
Utah.
No, but not legally documented. Like you can only get one marriage license.
Okay. Oh, but so this is marry. This is off record,
right?
Yeah,
so the other wives will be living with them, but they're just concubines.
Right.
They
only have
contract.
one. Yeah,
I got you.
One license.
Okay.
But now, I think they're trying to. Certain communities are dabbling into the idea of petitioning for multi-union license. I've learned a lot about that kind of lifestyle recently, and I find that the community part of it there's some benefits in it, but there's also some chaos. So, back to immigration.
Wait. Episode when we're talking about communities that care, and can you have that kind of community with other women?
It has to be accepted. It has to be accepted by society. First of all, it has to be a norm, right? It's not like taboo. So there's some tribes, villages in Africa where they do live together like that, and they say a man has 5 wives They have 21. I know multiple people. When I went to college, I've met them. Met kids produced from that kind of union.
Okay.
Actually, in that office, the lawyer's office that I worked at,
Yeah.
there was a guy from Sudan. He was whatever number of 21. He had 21 siblings. Interesting. He was Christian. You would think it was a Muslim thing, but he was Christian. They consider themselves Christians, and he came from a family with multiple wives and multiple children. And if they're well off, actually, when they do that, they have more resources. They have more people to divvy up chores or more people to work and bring the funds in. So they're able to invest and stuff. So they send their children to different countries to learn. So the children go out and learn the language. They go to China, Germany, England, America. So they send their children to different countries, learn the culture, learn, the language, and they bring the resources back to the country, and those children become governors of the country. Because going out into the world and experiencing other cultures give you a better view of, of
the world.
The world and how it works and different ways to govern and conduct or whatever. So in that community is acceptable no matter what your religion is. So you don't feel any kind of way about it.
Do you think that this is like a turn your nose against it more so in America, and we're the only ones like that?
Well, even here in America, we have lots of polygamy.
Well, in America,
out west to Utah,
it's not acceptable. But so we do it in secret.
No, out in the open.
No. I think they still do out in the open, but it goes back to being legally recognized by the state.
Okay, the law. The law.
But I do think there are a lot of communities like that. I have realized that my beliefs have been challenged a lot lately, in a good way though. I feel like my mind is being expanded, and I like that feeling. I love to learn. I love to read. I'm like, my favorite thing to do is to scroll through articles. Sometimes it's bad because I get distracted and might not get my work done for the day. But I love to learn, and I just interacting with those communities. It's been a highlight for me. Whatever. So I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But I mean,
wait, is polyamory kind of like accepted or legal? Can you get married as a group?
No.
The same way same-sex marriage has been legalized. Okay.
They're trying to multiple union.
Do you feel like in America our society is like more welcoming of polyamory than polygamy?
Can you explain the difference between the two?
Polyamory is you're not married, multiple partners. Everybody knows, like, all right, I know this man is with multiple. It's consent all around.
And she can have multiple as well.
So what's the difference between that and
polygamy? Is just the man, multiple wives. Polyandry is Erykah Badu and multiple men.
Okay.
So
why did I say Erykah Badu?
Because that's an example.
So Erykah Badu is in
polyandry.
What Neo is identifies as poly.
Really?
I think
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he came out with it last year. I think he's like, this is
not
me.
Polygamy. He's not married to them.
No, he's polyamorous.
Okay.
And
other women
Cannon is somewhere
in there too, because all his mothers of his children and know each other, and they like do stuff together.
Yeah. The Latter-day Saints would be polygamy because he calls his partners wives.
Okay.
And then, of course, legal polygamy is in different African culture, like communities or other countries that allow more than one marriage license.
Yeah, when I was in Tanzania, to become a chief in certain tribes, you had to have more than one. You had to show that you were taking care of more than one family to show your wealth,
Would
or you could
you-
not become a chief.
Hypothetically, would you ladies see the benefit of polygamy?
Here's the thing. We had this conversation before, but we were not live. The benefits of having other women to share my children, I could appreciate that. But sexually, hell no. I can't. I can't share.
I would have to
I'm not sharing.
I would have to go through it to know for sure.
I know
I
for
have to, like,
sure.
be in the situation,
'Cause
but
I'm a somebody call me selfish, but
a shellfish.
selfish.
I'm messing with you.
But yeah, I'm not. I think that's where the jealousy and all that other drama part comes in.
As long as you designate a time for me and you make that time. No, I don't know. I can't.
Maybe because I was born in America, American culture, American norms shaped my beliefs and my thoughts. So, and then experiencing Christianity in America as well. Yeah, I can't wrap my head around that concept. But I do love when my sisters come together and we do stuff together. Things get done fast. Things get done. And then we can capitalize on each other's strengths and weaknesses. You good at that, so you do that. You know, I'm good at that. You not. You blah, blah, blah. And we get things done faster and more efficiently. However,
That sounds like you take
No
your
sister
application.
wives. Even though somebody was trying to have sister wives for real.
ooh, what's he talking about?
Oh,
An ex.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was
No, thank
African.
you.
oh,
You got it,
golly.
Wrong country, bro.
buddy. Yeah.
But anyway,
So you have polyamory, polygamy.
Okay. Oh, I said it wrong.
polygamy
Polygamy,
is
I
the
guess.
female with the
Polygamy.
males.
Willie says you will get.
Is a specific type of polygamy where one man has multiple women.
Okay.
What's
Polygamy
Yeah.
is married to more than one person at the same time.
right? So legal
Okay.
license.
So
or
it
something.
doesn't matter what the sex is with polygamy.
Or
Yeah, polygamy is
It doesn't. Yeah. Okay.
based on that polygamy.
Right.
Polyamory is having multiple romantic or emotional relationships at the same time
emotional.
with everyone's knowledge and consent.
Consent.
That's polyamory. Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yo.
Even emotional relationship. So that work wife or that work husband that you have that emotional attachment to, you're kind of
Your
in a
work wife.
polyamorous relationship.
No, it's not
work
poly because
husband.
your wife didn't consent
Oh,
to
well,
that.
yeah, it's not.
That's
that.
called
So
infidelity.
Laura said
Info.
Big Willie says you will only get your man on holidays and
Weekend.
weekends. Well, then.
Okay, Big Willie. Hold on. It's hard to share someone you love with other women. Yeah. But even in the biblical times, like even when Sarah said, okay,
tried it.
go ahead. She gave her permission, and it's still now we have
Consent. Yeah.
it's still it caused tension. I think it does cause a little tension.
Because it.
Like I said, it depends on what your norm is. Well, I guess the jealousy came because she couldn't conceive herself, and now she's watching her husband enjoy this child with another woman that she couldn't do for her husband. So I guess the jealousy, that can come from there, for sure. But
So maybe it's the jealousy that's the problem.
Nah.
Yes,
Nah, grow up and share my husband. I guess I would be
Ooh.
elementary forever.
But that's how you build.
That's how you build community.
When they first came to Africa, that's how we were living.
I know, but I've been Americanized.
That's just,
How? Now you fighting every week.
how about this? How about
You're not building anything.
we can visit this with everybody in the comments section. Put a thumbs up if you want us to have a episode on
non-monogamy.
non-monogamy, polygamy, polyamory, polygynous,
I
all
agree
that.
with you, Jamal.
The benefits, the risks in it.
Try to read the Ethiopian Bible.
No.
Read that, and then you'll be like, oh, dang.
Apparently, you know, a crazy thing is
Why you
that,
not paying attention to it?
well,
Just because it's in the Bible, that was rewritten.
well, the Ethiopian Bible is probably the most original Orthodox because that geographically, that area is where, you know, the Middle Eastern, the Bible would have,
Jesus'
you know, the
ministry, yeah.
historical,
Or something.
biblical location started. And I even heard that the Garden of Eden is somewhere around there. I don't know how true that is, but
Well,
but you can't see it. You can't see with your naked eye. Like, it's hidden. It's a spiritual kind of. But anyway,
I mean, I don't know, because.
but like I said, right?
Yeah. But when
How
the
we are
continents
brought up,
disconnected,
how
we
we
can't
are
find
trained,
because it's
what is
outside of
normal in
the
our
garden.
society shapes our reality. So my reality is I ain't sharing. My husband. We could build community. You have your husband. You have your husband. We could build community that way. I'm not sharing. Okay.
I think what would be
Man,
challenging,
breathtaking.
what would be challenging for me is knowing like I need my partner, my spouse, my husband to be emotionally present with me, and then he's not available, and then having that moment, that feeling repeat itself. I don't think that's something. At some point, I feel like knowing myself, I would probably shut off that desire, that need for that. But then if he's not available because he's meeting someone else's need emotionally, which I can respect and honor it from a distance, but knowing me emotionally, I think after a while I will still honor my husband, honor and love the situation, but something in me would die. That's true.
But it will take a special kind of man. You ever been around a person, not even a man, it could be a female, that their leadership skills, like a real leader, really like looks after people for real. It kind of like mitigates some of the
drama.
Yeah, and the favoritism and all that. If you make everyone feel fair and everyone feel equal, and but it takes a
with
real
the same mom, same dad. Jealousy still happens
power.
with one mom, one dad, all the children. It still happens. So that's why I said maybe that jealousy is the problem. Because there's favoritism.
and that's what I'm saying. A real leader will
Nip that in the
know
bud.
how to
Handle that.
handle or
But do you not
mitigate
get
that.
better? Like when you're married, you just get better and better if you let it. So when she's saying this, like, you need to work in this area, don't get offended. Let that sharpen you. And then he's saying something to you. In 15 years, you're not the same person that you were when you first got married.
Yeah.
Let's say we add another into that. You're just getting better. So if you were struggling with jealousy and you feel like you're getting triggered when this happens, let's address that trigger so that it's not one in the future. So then you just get better.
Human nature is wicked.
Is that what that
So
is?
you just get better. It's
Human
all
nature is
right.
wicked, though.
We had our first
It's a
bell ring.
refinement. Yeah, it's a
We
refinement.
gotta talk. We gotta definitely revisit this conversation, maybe with a guest.
Yeah.
But
Maybe in our relationship, Valentine's Day episode. What kind of guests do you have in mind?
whichever ones that you do.
Well, he couldn't make it tonight. No, so, I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
But I did want to say this. I've been trying to say this for a while. This is back to immigration, guys.
Okay.
Really back
Let's
in.
really,
Because I know we had
it
this-
and reel it back.
Right. Because I know we usually wrap up around this time, so
Okay.
I do want to say that.
Okay.
Back to immigration. When it's a family-based immigrant visa, guys, just so I can back up what we said earlier. Green card, for instance, I'm applying for a relative, a child, or a relative. It can take, it says here, 1 to 20 plus years, depending on country and depending on what kind of relative relationship it is. If it's immediate relative, a child, or a spouse. or if it's a distant. That's why some
Or the
immigrants.
age of the child. That's why a lot of them make their age younger to come here.
Mhm.
They'll say they're like
35.
16 and they're really
19.
25.
So there are like those issues, and there are those loopholes.
But question,
Mm-hmm.
after you're in the US for 10 years, like how do you gain your naturalization? Isn't it after 10 years? Or do you need to have a certain kind of paperwork first and then you can...
That's usually citizenship. Okay, yeah, naturalization. Yeah,
Your green card is different than citizenship.
yeah.
Permanent
Permanent
residence.
residence is one thing, and citizenship is another.
So how do you become... I thought once you have your green card for 10 years, you're not automatically like...
No.
Neutralized.
You have to still go and apply to be a citizen. It's still a whole.
Yeah, but now you qualify.
Yes.
So if an immigrant was here illegally, for more than 10 years, do they then qualify for...
I don't know if that's changed. From what I understood, that no, but I don't. I
If you
There
have
might
a
have been
good
some
lawyer and the
changes.
right judge, it's case by case.
the problem is if you try and go for it and they're like, you've been illegal for this long, you could get deported.
On
It's
the
a
spot.
risk.
And the conditions are deplorable.
Well,
in
our
the detention
parents,
centers.
mommy
I mean,
went through the process of neutralization, because I remember you have to actually study American history. They ask you a bunch of questions and then become a U.S. citizen. I remember when she went in for that, but she was already here for more than 10 years, I think, at that point.
To be a citizen.
To
be a citizen.
Yeah. Yes. So
she was a green card holder for a long time.
yeah.
Well, obviously.
But we had already moved to Pennsylvania too. I think she was working at Fair Acres at the time when she became a citizen.
I never thought about that process. I just thought, I never thought about the details of her.
Studying to pass.
Yeah.
A lot of questions that Americans don't know.
So the question is, to kind of wrap things up,
Okay.
what can you do as citizens to change policies quickly, before things just are out of control? Congress is who's responsible for writing immigration law, not the president alone. So many immigration rules are stuck because Congress is gridlocked. I know there's like a veto from the president, and there's a back and forth between Congress and the president. And I know right now there is something Trump is trying to pass, but the Congress is doubling down on a no as leverage to get this immigration situation under control. So we could be looking at a partial shutdown within the next week or two, based off of what reports are saying. So get ready for that for those of you who work for the federal government or
a
are
second
on benefits.
shutdown.
Yeah, from what I heard, it could be a partial shutdown. You can pressure Congress directly. This works more than you think, actually. You can do phone calls, emails, letters, office visits for those of you that can. And why this matters is because for every contact, the staff logs every contact by issue. So you can call and say, so-and-so was like the 5-year-old that was detained so that they can draw out her parents. And there was just multiple children under 10 that were detained to draw out their parents. You can write against that, call against that specifically. So if you're contacting Congress, if you're contacting government, be specific. And just write about what you want to support, what kind of reforms you want to see, what laws or bills or whatever you want passed. And organize these group calls. You can do it as a community. You could do it as a workplace, an organization, a nonprofit, a church. So this is how you can help. I know there's a lot of information being spat out to the communities and not a lot of resolve or plan, and I'm a planner, so I want to know, okay, what can we do about this situation, and that's what you can do. I would have said, yeah, go ahead and protest maybe 5 years ago, but now
You might not make it home.
yeah, exactly.
And then voting, going out there and voting for the politicians, the state reps that support your views.
Yeah, this May.
Don't sit home and not vote. Like, vote. We need to go out there and vote.
Yeah, we have election coming up every May. Make sure you go out and vote, and not just every 4 years when it's the presidential election. It's so important. And if you have extra time, we need a lot of help at the polls. There are a lot of people who retired after COVID, and we don't have enough help.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you gave out some actionable, real solutions or steps that we can take.
And honestly, just do it once, like you were saying. Just
So where can we find these numbers to call? Congress?
Your state representative
Office?
Your local state representative office, your senator's office. You can contact them and get the information depending on your district or your city.
Our state representative office is over town, right across from the city hall.
So you can contact Carol Kazim.
Yes.
That office is a great place to start.
And the senator out in Minnesota. We can call their.
Yeah.
We're Americans. No matter what state, we can reach out. We'll post it. You'll see it a little later. We'll post that information.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the views, the support,
Miss Laura.
laughter with us. Oh, okay. But yeah, thank you for tuning into this evening's episode. And you've been with Rooted in Real
Delva Diaries.